Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm back with another movie review, and this movie is from Amazon Prime. It's called The Broken Rose. So it stars this girl named Rose, of course. And she has two friends, Erica and Nicole. So basically it starts off with Rose being a little girl, and she's in school, and it's now the end of the day, and her teacher, I forgot what her name was, Miss F or something like that. Miss F came up to her and talked to her, and she was drawing her picture, so she showed her teacher her picture, and she was like, it's nice. And then she started asking her these questions. I guess she probably had like a smell or something to her, because she asked her, she's like, well, what did you eat for dinner? She was like, I ate hot Cheetos. And what else? Just hot Cheetos. She said, I eat that all the time. And then she asked, did she take a bath? And she was like, my father says the water doesn't work, and it's been out for weeks. So, it's a teacher's job as a mandated reporter to address certain situations they see and what kids tell them to the proper authorities. So, lo and behold, CPS comes to the house, I think later on that same day, with a police officer, and they do a welfare check of the house to make sure it seems up to par for the child they were living in. So they go in the house, and the CPS worker, the lady, she asks the father, his name is Bobby Porter or Bobby Parker. She asked the father, well, where's her bed? And he was like, she's sitting on it. Mind you, it's a pallet on, I think they have like a pull-out couch or whatever. So she was sitting on that, and she was asking him, where did you sleep? He was like, on the floor. And then she asked him, well, where's her mother? Basically, her mother supposedly left her with him, and they're to fend for themselves, basically. So eventually, the CPS worker was like, listen, we're going to take her out with us to go eat. And the father was like, her mother basically just left her with me, and I really don't know how to take care of her. So ever since then, she was put into foster care. Mind you, I think she's at the age of like 5 or 6. So it looks like she's somewhere in kindergarten or first grade. So basically, from 5 to, I think, the age of 17? Yeah, she's been in foster care. So it fast forwards to her with this new foster family, and it's a Spanish couple, and let's just say it wasn't going right. So Rose vividly has these dreams, but she doesn't really speak on them. She just be having dreams of her mother when she was younger. But to my understanding, based on what I've seen so far, I believe her mother was a prostitute, and the fact that she ended up having her child with her at all times, and then at one point you just didn't see her mom anymore. So fast forward, she's with this new family. There's a little boy, the father, and the mother. So she's supposed to be, she asked to she went to school, and she meets up with her friend Erica and her friend Nicole. And then there's this boy that supposedly likes her since they was in middle school. His name is Brian. He been trying to talk to her, and she would not give him the time of day. You know how them boys is, them quiet, shy ones, but a good-hearted person. That's the one, she's like friend zone for forever. So later on that day, they was asked to go to a party. So she goes home, and she asks her parents, can she go to the party? They was like, sure. Just be home by 11 o'clock. So she goes to the party. Brian offered to take her there, but she turned him down. So Nicole's boyfriend was supposed to take her and them to the party, and he decided not to show. So I guess they ended up taking the bus there, and when they got there, and Brian was like, well, I could have came and picked you up, but they still turned him down. Like, listen, sometimes people are just friendly. Like, not everybody just trying to, get in your pants. But, she turned him down. Eventually, the party was over. She didn't get a chance to get a ride back with how she came, because I think they came in an Uber. Yes. So Nicole's friend came to pick up Nicole, but Rose also asked Nicole if her friend could drop her off home. So they get in the car. Erica, she left and found a way to get home. So Nicole, Rose, and her male friend, goes by the name of Darnell. He introduces himself to Rose, and he drives Nicole to a spot, and she gets out. So my understanding, I'm like, well, why did she just ride with her friend to her home? So after Nicole got out, mind you, she was dressed in this skimpy dress. So yeah. So Rose gets in the front. He ends up driving her to some place, but she was like, no, my house is this way, and I'm gonna get in trouble if I don't get home. So eventually, she told him, like, I'm only 17, and he was like, well, you don't look like a 17-year-old. Looks can be deceiving. So eventually, he ends up driving her to her house. She gets home just in the nick of time, and next thing you know, you see the father walking into her room. Y'all already know what went down. I ain't even got to explain it. Y'all already know what went down. So as the father's leaving her room, the little brother is standing in the hallway, like, and then the father goes, shh, and the little boy walks away. As soon as the father gets up, the wife is standing there like, she shakes her head and walk away. She don't say nothing. The next day, she's on the phone with CPS worker telling them like, listen, she cannot stay here no more because she found out what he's been doing to her this whole entire time. So she was fed up with it. She said, listen, so for her safety and his, we just going to rectify the situation. I'm surprised she didn't call the cops and press charges on him. Like, so basically, to alleviate that, she just said the girl could not stay there no more. So eventually, she got put into another group home. And that was that. So now that she was now that Rose was now in contact with Darnell, when she went back to school, she's now in a new group home. She went back to school. Erica and Rose went to school and stuff like that. And they end up meeting up at a diner after school. And in comes Nicole with Darnell. Yes, Darnell. The same one that dropped her home. So, now that's that, come to find out, Nicole, she just got back from a trip, going to Miami, Los Angeles, and I guess somewhere else, in Vegas. And she asked her friends, Erica and Rose, do they want to go shopping with her? And Darnell had like this little, the irritated faces that people make that they're not supposed to make. Yeah, he had one of those. And she was like, he asked if they could come with them. And Darnell said, of course, but they didn't have the money. So, of course, Darnell paid for their stuff. So, after that, the next couple of days, somehow or another, she ends up while she's at the group home, she ends up getting in contact with Darnell. So basically, Darnell picked her up and pulled her from the group home. And mind you, she's 17. Yes, 17. And he basically moves her in to where he's at. But before, he has a talk with Nicole. Nicole is a prostitute. She's 17 as well. She found out she was pregnant. He didn't like that, so he beat her up, sent her on her way, and you don't see nothing from her for a good moment. I'm talking to y'all too much, but yeah. I'm getting to the point. So, long story short, once Rose gets to his house, she basically starts spending up his money. She gets a new wig and stuff put on. Then one day she goes into Erica's shop and was asking to buy some cute clothes. Basically, she switched up on her friend and started acting brand new. After that, Erica told her about herself, and then Rose threw some money at her and then left out the store. So then her boss comes out, was like, listen, who was that? She was like, some random girl. But make sure you get the money off the floor. Like, what? She ain't buying nothing, but, she still got to get the coins from, like, listen, business is business. No matter how you get it. That's how people think. But, yeah, so after that, she went back home. She got in trouble for spending up the money because she's basically thinking that she finally found someone that was going to take care of her and not want to do nothing to her or want something from her. But little did she know, she was wrong. So eventually, Darnell convinces her to, become a prostitute. First day, he was like, they just want you to go with them to a company party, keep them some company, and that's just what it is. The next time, that person wanted more, and then she was like, I don't think that's good, so she calls him up. No, the guy calls up the guy Darnell and asks, like, listen, I paid for more, so I want more. So eventually, whatever Darnell had said to Rose on the phone, she basically complied. She didn't say nothing. She just shut her mouth and laid on the bed. They did they do. And it was like, it's crazy. So now she's under this impression, like, he just wanted me to help him out. But little do she know, over time, she got tricked out. She became a prostitute. And, she kept finding ways to leave. But then again, I don't think she was really ready to leave. Because, mind you, she's 17. She's naive. She just wants somebody to love her, be there for her, and take care of her. And just make sure she's safe. But no, that didn't happen. Third guy, she ends up having, multiple partners every single night. And I guess they're not using no protection. So, fast forward, Nicole, come to find out, she got HIV. She had 2 miscarriages. She had an abortion. And she was struggling with substance abuse. So now she's a recovering addict, taking HIV pills for the rest of her life. And her life basically just went downhill, thinking somebody was going to be there for her to protect her and show her what real love is. Mind you, this whole entire time, she's in contact with her friend Brian, the one that was trying to give her from the beginning. He kept calling her, and she kept denying him. So she ends up meeting this one guy. Come to find out, he's a cop, basically a crooked, corrupted cop. Only reason why he got his job is because his dad is the mayor of the town. So, he had his hookups. So, basically, they started doing the do. And it's like, they had a revelation with each other. Like, the stuff they were saying was like, you with me because of this and stuff like that. So, long story short, she's a prostitute and he's like messing with prostitutes. And they end up saying something to each other that, hit a nerve between the both of them. Like, she had a storyline like, listen, whatever the storyline says, a crooked cop messing with a prostitute. Mind you, he finds prostitutes on the corner every single day. Some they're dead and stuff like that. Mind you, some of them are young, like the ages of 12 and 15. So one girl he finds and he sees this necklace, and he tells her, the cop is he goes by the name of Ricardo. So Ricardo gives this message to Rose because they're now doing it together. So Ricardo tells Rose that he found this necklace on this girl. Come to find out, she already know who necklace was. It was the boy Shaka Darnell, same person. His necklace, because she the one who gifted it to him. So she already knew off the bat it was him. So basically, after a while, he doesn't feel like the girls are up to par. He starts beating on them. Firstly, he takes them, gives them under his wing, start you know, whining and dining him at first, and then he flips the switch and he becomes this cruel, aggressive person. So after he stops dealing with them for a while, he either hurts them really bad or kicks them to the curb. And Rose knew this in the beginning, and she still decided to stay because she thought that was real love. So after that, Rose ended up becoming replaced. There's this new girl that comes into the picture. So basically, she became Nicole, and then the new girl became her. So Brian eventually, you know, was there to help her because she finally realized, and the cop also told her what was going to happen, you know, if that was the last time or whatever. So they tried to escape that situation. Eventually, Brian got in contact with Erica so they can get Rose to leave and go out of the state and live a better life. But that being said, Darnell, he ends up watching them from Brian's grandparents' house, and after he put the suitcase in the car, he ends up coming back in. Come to find out, Darnell has a gun to the back of Brian's head, and like, listen, you're not letting go of my property. And Rose just want to live and try to get her life back on track. That didn't happen. Darnell, he ends up beating Brian to death with the butt of his gun. Then he goes to tell Rose that it's time to go to get back on the street to make his money. They started, you know, talking all gully and gangster. She said some stuff that hit him to the core, so he pulled up the gun and had it up to her chin, like he was about to shoot her. Next you know, it's a gunshot. The person who shot him was Nicole. I was so excited to see her, but it's like, dang, he really let her go downhill. And after he got shot, Darnell and Rose were tussling with the gun, and he ended up shooting her. But he manages to get away after Nicole goes hides in the staircase without being seen. And after she hears him leave, she goes to check up on Rose, and she's just like, she's out of it. She calls for her mother, and you know, she dies. And Darnell, he was able to get away. And when the cops and ambulance came, Nicole basically got charged with a double homicide. So basically, their lives just ended tragically, and it was just so sad to see, like, the stuff that goes on when you think somebody really there for you, and it just takes a left. Like, y'all definitely have to check out this movie. It's called The Broken Rose. This movie is basically to show awareness how people get put into human trafficking, regardless if you're a child or not. Like, the good and the bad, the glitz and the glamour, like, all that is just a sad sight to see. Like, y'all gotta do better. We all gotta do better. Like, speak up. Don't always hold stuff in, because if not, you're gonna be put into this situation that you're not gonna know how to get out of, and it's gonna be worse. Like, y'all definitely have to check out this movie. It's called The Broken Rose on Amazon Prime. Okay? So guys, I hope y'all enjoyed this movie review. Check it out. It's definitely good, and it's definitely an eye-opener to see. And with that being said, I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.